So in my first lesson I taught you how to do the perfect double-handed kettlebell swing. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. What I'd like to teach you today is some of the progressions, because really you're only limited by your imagination when it comes to a kettlebell. So I'd like to teach you some of the progressions that come from having learned how to do a perfect double-handed kettlebell swing. Let's get going. Here's my kettlebell. As always, I'm going to start with it ahead of me. We're going to go through the power swing, heels up, and full swing first. Power swing, stop short, power as fast as you can, and as powerfully as you can, swinging into extension but not letting the weight rise up. Heels up, let it come up to shoulder height, and as it becomes weightless, raise your heels, come up onto your toes, squeeze your calves, and keep your core nice and tight. Now the full swing, all the way to the top, all the way to the top. The difference between the full swing and the Americana is that during the Americana swing, as the weight is coming forward through your legs, there's an upright row style phase in the motion. As you're coming through, just as it passes your hips, not quite your knees, so as it passes my hips, hasn't come ahead of me yet, I'm going to start pulling that weight up right in front of my nose and pushing, and then allowing that drop to create more of a stretch and greater depth in my full swing. That stretch you should feel in your hamstrings. As you can see, it's a nice simple move, moves smoothly as well, and includes a nice upright row pull function, a pause at the top as the weight settles, and then a huge amount of swing and movement into the full depth of the motion. So long as you've got the perfect swing, shoulders moving on the arc, hips moving on the horizontal, you can practice each of those. Next, there's 3 types of swings I'm going to take you through left in this video: hops, steps, and an around the world swing. Your steps are the building blocks for your hops. Once you've got a natural movement for the swing, all you're going to do is wait for it to become weightless and take a step, and take a step. You can go forwards, left and right, and even backwards. So once you know how to swing properly, have a play around with just stepping out in either direction, front and back, as that kettlebell is weightless. Don't try and move whilst the weight is still trying to pull you forward and whilst it's still carrying all that momentum you've given it. The difference between that and your hops is that both feet will leave the ground at the same time. Okay, so as you can imagine, it's much more taxing on your cardio system. Your muscles have to work that much harder, and your core has to fix that much tighter every time you leave the ground and return back to it. Plus the extra stress is your cardio and finding the right space in that movement to breathe. Now the final one I'm going to take you through is the around the world swing, and that's really about learning to fire that weight forward as explosively as possible, with the aim to get its inertia dying just behind your head. And as you do so, you're going to pivot on one foot. Try not to think too hard of Ross in Friends when I say pivot, because it's all I can think of. But what you're going to do is you're going to let that weight travel up naturally, and only once it's about to pass your eye line do you then start to move, because the rest of the power you've given it should feed it past your head as you turn. So there you go. As you can see from the bottom of your kettlebell swing, it's going to require a lot of power from your hamstrings, glutes, back and shoulders. Lots of control from your core as you fire that weight up and over you. And then there's a small shuffle in your footwork to follow that weight round and make sure that you've created the correct stance for your kettlebell swing as the weight travels over you and swings back between your legs. This is just the beginning of what is possible. We're still going to go through single arm swings, cleans, jerks, Turkish get-ups, every sort of basic move that you can do with a kettlebell, and build towards your flows. Go follow me on Instagram, it's Glenn Weinstein Fitness. Go follow me on Facebook, it's fuck's sake, that's loud. Well, if you can hear me, Glenn Weinstein Fitness on Facebook, Glenn Weinstein Fitness on Instagram, Glenn_PT on Twitter. Jesus, you're making me work for this one. and Glenn Weinstein Fitness on YouTube. If you found this someplace else, go find me online. Share this with people who need to learn. If you care about someone enough to hope that they never get injured, share this video with them, because I promise you if they're using kettlebells, they're probably not doing it right. Share it with a friend, share it with family, help this channel become great.